This month has been full of celebration of Asian Americans, and their successes in films have come out and brought a beautiful light onto the community. Food has been shared and celebrities have been starred, but throughout every outbreak of success and progress, what does it really mean to be Asian American? So, in honor of this month, Asian Pacific American Heritage Month, I decided to ask people of different backgrounds, gender, age, and more, what does being Asian American mean to you?
There's like a lot of plus sides because I learned like traditions and stories, and I think stories are so important, especially in cultures. Being Asian American to me just means be a part of both cultures because both are different and beautiful in their own way. And I really like learning about my past.
Hi. To me, being Asian American means embracing my culture. It means learning about the rich history. It means eating the incredible foods and learning how to make them. It means learning about how, you know, time has changed in the Philippines and how the world has affected the Philippines and how the Philippines has affected the world. Um, it means family. It means embracing my own personal history and all the things that come with it. It means just being proud of being Filipino and being proud of being an Asian American and not being afraid to show it.
I mean, what I can I mean, for me, I love my heritage and my culture. Um, I don't know, I just love being Korean. Like the food is the food, it's so good. Um, yeah, I don't know. I feel like being Korean American is a reason why I love myself. Which sounds really weird and like maybe racist, but just I don't know. I really like being Asian and American and Asian American. Where am I going with this? Um, yeah, and I think another thing. I mean, I guess to be a bit more like current events. COVID-19 is upon us, and we're in quarantine, and it's kind of scary. Um, for me, like being Asian, because I'm hearing about all these hate crimes and everything that's going on against Asian people, and it's scary in the fact that one, we live in a time where that's still happening when it shouldn't be happening at all, and two, uh, it's scary to go outside my house. Like I'm afraid, like, what if someone comes up and like hurts me or my family because we're Asian and because of our race. And it's weird. Like I read a whole article by someone, I forgot their name, someone big. They talked about how they went from citizens to foreigners because of the whole coronavirus, and it's kind of like, I don't know. It's scary. It's a time. Um, but yeah. But other than what's happening now, I love being Asian American.
Being an Asian American, well, you see, like, I'm Taiwanese and I also live in America. And when I go to Taiwan, everyone, like, sort of, like, looks at me weird because, like, I have this weird American accent and they feel like I'm more on the American side than on the Asian side. But if you look at me, like, now, I feel like I'm more at the Asian side and not on the American side, which makes me, like, in between. And that's good and bad. So being an Asian American to me means that I'm able to take the best of both my American side and my Asian side and make the best out of both of them. Also, being an Asian American means that if I do have a bowl cut, I can get away with it.
To me, being Asian American means culture. It means having a rich family history, and it means heritage and identity. And to me, it also means large family gatherings and my mom's cooking and growing up speaking two different languages, weaving in and out. And also for me, I grew up in white suburbia in Iowa in the Midwest, which is probably very different than growing up in Southern California, I imagine. So it also meant learning to accept and love my culture and who I am and what I look like and my mother tongue. Growing up in school, it was really hard for me to talk to my parents on the phone because I would be embarrassed. So to me, it also meant learning to accept, the sound of me talking to my mom, talking to my parents. So to me, being Asian American, it also means something to be proud of.
Hi, my name is Jun Kim, and being an Asian American means a lot of things to me. First, it means being able to take two different cultures, two different forms of ideas, and compile them into your own identity and your own self. It means respecting where your family came from, where you came from, the lessons and the culture they share with you through your birth, but also understanding that it's now your turn to pioneer and voyage a new journey to create and learn new lessons in a whole new land so you can maybe pass that on to your kids someday. It also means acknowledging that you now have a chance for a better life, you now have a chance for more opportunities than maybe your parents or your grandparents were able to have. It's acknowledging that and also respecting that the people in your family gave up a lot for you to have this and thanking them for that. Lastly, it means just carrying on your legacy. Your legacy is your family, and expanding that internationally, not just being entrapped in maybe the country you came from. It means allowing yourself to take part of something else, as in for me, Korean, it's to take part of that and expand that into America, influence others around you, and overall just have a great experience learning from others in America, but also remembering your roots and remembering your heritage, as now every part of that is you. Thank you.
To me, being an Asian American means strength and representation. For an Asian American girl who wants to become an actress, I've always thought that I have to work around the fact that I am Asian. But I've realized that I need to represent and take pride in the fact that I am Asian American.
To me, being Asian American means to not only recognize that my parents' journey of immigrating from Korea and creating a life for me and my two sisters was something that cost them a lot of things, but it's actually a gift that I get to receive from my parents' own labor. And because it's a gift, it's not something that I could have earned, it's not something that I could have worked for, but this gift was actually freely given to me. And because of that, I want to make sure that I give myself the space to learn, to be a person that can honor that gift in the best way that I can. So that's what it means for me to be Asian American.
Okay, what does being Asian American mean to me? I think for me personally, being that I'm mixed with being Mexican and Filipino, and I've never really been asked this question because I usually identify more as Mexican, being that I speak the language. But I think what being Asian American means to me is getting to integrate myself into different cultures, especially because my cultures are from opposite sides of the world. Being able to connect with my dad and because I don't speak Tagalog, when I hear it, I'm mesmerized by the different language and the communication, and I wish that I spoke it because I think it would have helped me a lot in being able to identify more as Filipino. But when I get to visit my family and get to experience the food and the stereotypes that we get to make fun of and things like that, I think it's really cool that I get to be part of being Asian American.
So I'm a quarter Filipino, and my Filipino family is on my dad's side. So what it means to be an Asian American to me. To be Asian American to me really means celebrating family and love and support and closeness through that. Like whenever there's a new child born in my family, everybody's on top of it to help raise that child to be the best that they can be. And although Filipino people can be very opinionated or speak their minds, they really just mean the best and they just want to see you grow as a person. But I really think that the most important part for me growing up Filipino and in my family was learning to celebrate not only the people that you are blood related to, but knowing that you can break bread with anybody and that there is room for anybody new at the dinner table, and that love and support are really the defining factors in your chosen family. And because of that, I've grown up to be the person that I am today that constantly does want to create that sense of warmth and community and learning how to shape that chosen family, all because of my Filipino background.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, when I think about being Asian American, this kind of applies to any culture, but I just feel very grateful that I can call myself a part of a community that I can continue to learn more about and celebrate. I'm also a really big foodie and I love Asian food. There's so much good Asian food in this world, so I'm just very proud to call myself Asian American.
Is it?
That's it.
To me, being Asian American means understanding my family past and my family's culture and being able to apply that to my life today. My dad was a refugee who escaped the Vietnam War by boat. He came to America with his siblings. And knowing that this is my family's past, I feel like it has impacted my life in many ways. Especially in my family's culture, and also being a Vietnamese dancer in the ballet community.
I'm Indian, and to me, that is a major part of my identity. Sometimes it's hard to determine whether to respect and follow American or Indian societal norms. But being Asian American is more than just that. It's having a strong community, a rich culture and background, and a close connection to my ancestors and family. It also means that my parents worked really hard to give me a happy life, and I will cherish that for the rest of my life. I wouldn't be who I am if I wasn't Asian American.
The question was, what does it mean to be an Asian American? And first of all, I think that it has to do with a lot of pride. In 7th and 8th grade is when I really started to take pride and take note of who I was ethnically, and from there kind of just branched off. And I'm very prideful and I love being an Asian. You can ask any of my friends and they will just tell you how much I love being an Asian. But yeah, I started an Asian club with one of my best buds and a few other my friends in high school. It's called Asian Student Society Club, and basically our mission was to educate our fellow peers on current Asian news and pop culture. And I think that's very important, and I think that is a nice segue into what I wanted to talk about, was that as Asian Americans we have the responsibility to kind of educate people, especially within our generation, because we're going to be the storytellers of the next generation. And we have the responsibility to kind of show people who we are, and we're much more than what you ever see in the media, especially nowadays with the virus going around. And I think that it's also just being able to kind of take pride in who you are and kind of maybe take bits and pieces of yourself and integrate it with your culture and kind of show off who you are yourself. And I think that also because the term model minority applies to us, a lot of people think that we're the model minority. And I really like the revised version of that one of my favorite film companies, an Asian American film company called Wong Fu, they talk about this idea of remodeling the minority. And I really kind of follow that path, where basically I just kind of want to remodel that minority and kind of get this image of what people believed Asians were back then. And obviously there's lots of progress going around, there's lots of change going around, and people are starting to see who we really are as a culture. But I kind of want to influence that and get that further out to the world. And lots of regress happening as of right now because of COVID-19. But I think that I I really want to continue to pursue kind of, which is another segue, a great segue into what I want to say next, is that we being an Asian American, we have to be the storytellers of our culture. And I think that through that, then we can kind of get rid of this idea of being the model minority, and I would love to remodel the minority.
Korean American, and I think all Asian Americans should be very proud of their culture, their history, their food, just their roots in general, because I think being an Asian American is awesome and is such an honor. And I understand how difficult it can be for certain people because of how much discrimination we faced, and also the discrimination that we're currently facing under the COVID-19 situation, and how Asian Americans are the main group that are being discriminated against. I personally have friends and have seen so many media publications of Asian Americans being discriminated against simply due to their race and skin color, which I find completely ridiculous, because I think that we're all unique and we all have so much to offer as individual people. But I understand that under a state of panic, this can be difficult to understand. But I think that we're also powerful and we have so much to offer to the world, and that we just need to stay strong. And we just have to remember that we all share this rich culture, and that we're all awesome in our own ways.
I would say that being Filipino, mostly, to me, is having a sense of family almost everywhere. Like almost any Filipino I know, or every single one of them, in fact, I've felt like they can almost be like related to me, you know? And I think it's a nice thing to say that like I feel like I could find a sense of family in anyone, especially if they're Filipino, because it's almost like they're everywhere. You know, my parents, they're Filipino, and they seem like they know everyone, and you know, their sense of hospitality is kind of spread onto me as well. And even the story of how like my grandparents came over to the country is which they just came here through the airport, no plan, and then all of a sudden this other Filipino couple at the same age, they decided to just invite them, and then they just lived with them, and then now my whole family is here in the country now. So if I guess you could say I'm here just because of Filipino hospitality.
My mom is from Vietnam, and my dad is from Iran, and they both were born in different countries, and then they both came to America and met, and that's that story. So what being Asian American means to me is culture. I am exposed to so much every day. I have the opportunity to know 2 other languages other than English, which is my first language, but I also love hearing stories about how my parents grew up and how different it is from how I grew up. And also it's a fun thing to say, you know, that I have such diverse parents, and like, you know, all the struggles that they had to overcome to be here. Not only that, but to get married in the first place. You know, it came from a lot of judgment on my mom's side, and I'm just grateful to be here, and I'm very proud of who I am. I'm very proud of my ethnicity and my background and where I came from.
Being Asian American means to me proudly representing your own individual culture, because oftentimes I find many Asians are grouped together in this large overarching category, when in reality there's a lot of beauty and specificity to each culture. So I think it's important to really proudly represent your ethnic roots and your own identity.
To me, being an Asian American means that I'm strong, I'm unique, and a part of a powerful, resilient community. To be more specific, being Korean American, I grew up not knowing where I fit in. Being born and raised in America into a very Korean household had me question whether I was Korean or American, but I soon came to realize that I was neither and both at the same time. In Korea, I would probably be considered an American, but in America, I'm considered Korean. I am a part of 2 different worlds at the same time, and living between 2 different cultures, I learned that I'm unique in my own way and special because essentially I get to experience the best of both worlds. I am proud to be Asian and I'm proud to be American, but most of all, I'm so honored to be able to call myself an Asian American.
To me, being Asian American means being the descendant of some of the bravest people on earth. Because for me personally, my parents moved from Taiwan to America when they were very young, just 3 or 4 years old. And I think about everything that they had to go through just to get here in the first place. They had to move from where they were comfortable to a place where they spoke another language and ate new food and had a completely other culture. So I think about what my ancestors had to go through in order to create the life that I know today.
So being Asian American to me means really embracing my Asian background and applying that to my everyday life or who I want to grow up to be. I think that representation is so, so important. And as of right now, I feel like Asian representation in general is one of the lowest. And I really want to fight for that because I think it's so, so important to make people aware of who we are and our culture and how badass Asians are, because bro, Asians are friggin' cool, bro. I can't really talk, I'm so sorry. But yeah, and I think that Asian Americans tend to be looked down upon, especially now at this time with the whole COVID crisis thing. We're really mistreated, and yeah.
I was trapped, and now I'm free. The door was locked, but I found the key. Crashing waters kept me beneath my mental surface, but I'm coming back again, break the water and find my purpose. 'Cause I can breathe again. I can come up from that water, break the surface tension, break my tension in my heart as I gasp for air, 'cause I can feel again. I can feel these things again. I'm gonna be okay, 'cause I've survived the place I've been. 'Cause I can breathe again. The grimy water is out of my lungs. I can speak again. A language of joyful tongues. Climb up this ladder and use every single rung. My heart is singing, my ears are ringing, but it's ringing of joy, 'cause I can breathe again.